December. It's the middle of December. I've always wanted to take a moment to rewatch. It wouldn't be a moment, it'd be a long series of moments to rewatch all of the Lord of the Rings. Probably not the extended edition of the Fellowship of the Ring, because I think the theatrical version is far superior for pacing reasons. Some of the added scenes are I don't know, kind of goofy. The elves thing, I don't know. Never cared for the elves that much. And I've known people who are obsessed with the elves. But it's December, so I always think about Lord of the Rings, the films, because that's when they came out. And they came out when I was a young man, and I was super pumped for them when they came out, really excited. I grew up knowing the story because my dad used to tell my brother and I bedtime stories, and he would retell us or tell us, about Bilbo and Frodo. And so for me, that was always the appeal of the story itself from The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, which is the Hobbits. And so the elves thing, really, take it or leave it, I don't care. As I've gotten older, I am more interested in sort of the story within the story, the backstory of Middle-earth, and, why is Aragorn the king? Who was his dad, and who was his dad? There's Gondor, there's Arnor. What are these things? What do they represent? What's the story there? But where do you get the time to rewatch that many movies all in a row and not get divorced, or not lose your job? When could you do it? So I don't know, maybe one day I will, but I was thinking about those films not that long ago, because they really started, in my opinion, the trend in Hollywood that led to the Marvel cinematic universe. The attempt to, or not the attempt, but it's an appealing thing for the studios to be able to take a property that has a built-in fan base and adapt it. Because even if it's not great, the movies will make money because fans want to see the thing they love on screen. You want to see it in real life. But nothing will ever approach the Lord of the Rings for grand ambition, and have been able to do it so well. There'll never be another film series like it. It's kind of like the Beatles, are they the best band ever? I don't know. Maybe. They're the best selling. So even if they're not your particular cup of tea, if that many people so many different generations love them and buy everything that they put out, there must be something to it, you know. I found that to be the case with so many things. Just because it's popular doesn't mean it's the best. That's totally true. But if something is overwhelmingly popular, it's probably good. And the first thing I really had that realization about, funny enough, was Harry Potter. Harry Potter novels were for kids, and they came out, at least the first one, two, maybe even the third one came out when I was a teenager. So, you know, I'm not reading a kid's book. Give me a break. And the first film came out during Thanksgiving in 2001. I was an adult. I was a freshman in college. And I was home for Thanksgiving, and kind of the tradition that we had was on Thanksgiving, my old man took us to see a movie. And that continued on into my adulthood. If I was home for Thanksgiving, my dad and I, maybe my brother would come, we'd go see a movie. And my father loved Lord of the Rings, so we were both really excited about it. And so I was home from college, and, you know, my dad's like, well, let's go see Harry Potter. And I thought, okay, yeah, sure, I'll go to the movies. Not really excited about this one, but okay. And I don't remember what else was out at the time, but Harry Potter was the big release. I mean, it was, you know, the 300-pound gorilla in the room. You put a movie to open against it, you know, you're gonna get trounced. And, you know, I expressed a little bit of, yeah, sure, yeah, let's go see it. My dad said, well, don't you want to see him? And I said, yeah, I guess. I mean, it's, you know, it's a kid's movie. And my dad said, oh, you didn't read it? I'm like, Dad, no, I'm 19. I'm not reading I'm not reading a book about a 10-year-old limey wizard. This is stupid. Now, my dad read them. And my dad was and is the type of guy that reads everything. He reads all the time. And he would give me book recommendations. And if I read it, he had recommended it to me. If I read it, he recommended it. I loved it. And he didn't recommend to me everything he read. But he knew what I would like. The reason why I ever read Gates of Fire by Stephen Pressfield, my dad said, oh, you got to read that one. And I read it. You know, to this day, it's still my favorite book. All these years later. But he said, no, Harry Potter, oh man, they're really good. Yeah, they're kids' books, but man, they're really good. No, you'll like it. You'll like it. And so we went to see Harry Potter. And yeah, I really liked the movie. And then the next year, hell yeah, let's go see Chamber of Secrets. I didn't like it that much. And then I don't remember when Azkaban came out. I want to say it was like in the spring of 2004. But the first two went bang bang, year apart, because they were filmed simultaneously, similar to Lord of the Rings, or not simultaneously, but, you know, back to back. And I liked it. You know, I liked the world building that they'd done in the films, and Azkaban was pretty good. I enjoyed it. And I think I saw Goblet of Fire with my dad as well. that is my favorite Harry Potter movie. That's my favorite Harry Potter book. And so even up into, reading, watching all the films and wanting to see the next one, I saw them all in the theater. I didn't pick up the books until basically the 7th one was going to be released. And so I was like, damn, I got to read them, because it's going to get spoiled if I don't read them, I can't wait for the film to come out to know what happens. I've got to read it. So I read them, and I liked them. I liked all of them. But that coming back around to talking about Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, fortuitous they came in at the same time. You've got two properties that have a big following. They're good stories, and the studios in question, New Line for Lord of the Rings, now owned by Warner's, and Warner's for Harry Potter, let the creative people do their thing. They let them have the budget they needed for their vision, and it is a case for both of them of movie magic. Let the artists be creative. Let them do their thing. And that led to, ultimately the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which hit its peak with, the death of Iron Man. After that, sorry folks, the story's over. There is no story left to tell. And that's why you've seen sort of mediocre releases since. There's agenda there too, Gee, let's see, why was Marvel popular? Well, who are our stars? Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Hemsworth. What do they look like? Oh, they look like movie stars. Oh, and they can act. How about that? Get a good story, put a lot of money behind it, let movie stars star, and everybody likes it. Shocking, I know. All that to say, people talk about the elves in Lord of the Rings. They'll talk about the powers here of, this superhero. I don't know. People get really nerdy on the Harry Potter stuff. And it's like they enjoy the movies and the stories in spite of themselves. Similar to, Lost. Oh, the mystery of the island. Is that what we're telling? Is that the story here? Or is that just the sandbox we're playing in? Right? Well, those are the great stories. Those are the great films. The Godfather doesn't have to be set in 1940s, 1950s. It could be set at any time. That's not what makes it a classic. So many things go into making a film a classic. It's not what made it resonate with the audience when it first came out, and to this day. Same thing with Lord of the Rings. It helps that it's an environment that's sort of not here and now, so it gives it a timeless quality. But in the case of Lord of the Rings, the appeal of the films, the appeal of the story that's then translated to film by Peter Jackson and all the other gang that down there in New Zealand, is that this story is about the Hobbits. It's not about the elves. It's not about wizards. It's about the Hobbits. All of the major action, maybe all of the major action in the books, except for Gandalf going to Orthanc and Aragorn going on the paths of the dead, all of the major action is told through the eyes of the hobbits. They are why that fantasy story is set apart from all the others. Aragorn, how interesting is Aragorn as a character? Really. It's an interesting story. It's a cool story. It's like an Arthurian last Roman emperor type of story. Are you going to play that out for 9 hours? No. Where is the drama with Aragorn? Aragorn, the movie takes great pains to show you in the first film. When Aragorn draws his sword, he's invincible. He's like Roy Jones in his prime. He can't be beat. He can't be stopped. He can't be topped. He can't be rocked. Nobody can do anything to him. He fights 5 Nazgul by himself in the dark and smokes them, chases them off, sets them on fire, kicks their asses, and that's it. See you later, Nazgul. Who's going to do anything to him, right? So where's the drama? Well, the drama's with the hobbits, right? The story's called The Lord of the Rings, which is an interesting title because that means the novel is named after the villain, right? Sauron is the Lord of the Rings. So the drama in the story is, the hobbits, their struggle in a war, but ultimately it's about Frodo's will set against the enemies. That's the drama. The will of Frodo, a young man, against this thing of evil. Will Frodo's will hold strong long enough to do the deed? And the hobbits, the other 3, are there to help him along the way. And of course, spoiler alert, Frodo's will was good enough to get the ring into the spot where it could be destroyed. But the ring knows the secret, which is that at that spot where it can be destroyed, nobody's will can beat it. So Frodo's will fails in the end. But by chance, by the mercy of Bilbo, another hobbit, the ring was destroyed. Because the mercy of Bilbo spared the life of Gollum, who ultimately, through clumsiness, jubilation at recovering his precious, destroyed it. That's the story. That's the main story. And that's the story that Peter Jackson knew he had to tell with the films. And that's why they have an enduring quality to them, is because the movies are about friendship. They're about male friendship, honor, loyalty, persistence, right? The fellowship of the ring. That has religious connotation. That's not the only story you can tell that's in an epic, but it's a good one. Making them hobbits. You know that they're underdogs. You hope that they can win out. You know that they shouldn't. The odds are totally against them. But that's why people love them. And it's hard to find somebody who can tell a story like that and to get the audience to buy in. similar to that, the appeal of Harry Potter is not the magic. It's not, or the ultimate appeal, why it's so popular and why it stayed popular. It's not spells. It's not house elves. It's not the trinkets that they find along the way or the weird animals. It's not even that Harry is, in a boarding school, which in America we have no idea what that's like, but sounds neat. That it wouldn't be. But the appeal of the story is that we have a hero in it, Harry Potter, who has many faults. Right? He's quick to anger. Actually, he's arrogant. He's kind of lazy. And there's times where he's, kind of dishonest. But we love Harry because Harry is loyal to his friends. He's loyal to Dumbledore. He's an orphan, so we feel sorry for him. But ultimately, Harry is very brave. We love him for his bravery. That's the stories that people want actually to be told. Not diversity is our strength, but no, bravery is your strength.